I will have to start myself here.
Right.
And should I share my screen?
Absolutely, sir.
Should I wait up or I just start? Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. So we are here to discuss about Nifty today, Nifty and Bank Nifty, and how to trade them for the this particular week when Bank Nifty has already bounced by 1200 to 400 point, and Nifty has bounced from 16,000 levels or 15,800 levels. Right now, these are the positions that I have created. It might be a little difficult to understand them from the net position, so I will just head to the Obstra where you can just get a glimpse of what kind of positions I'm holding right now. So these are the two positions that I'm holding. It is a mix of ratio calendars on both Nifty and Bank Nifty. So this Nifty position is something that I created on Friday, and it is already running into profit. So this is how the payoff graph for this particular position looks like. Okay, at 16,950 and 16,350 call and put, I have created some uh, call ratio calendars and put ratio calendars. In call ratio calendars, we are selling some calls and some puts in this particular week, and we are hedging it in small quantity by buying the options from the next week. For example, in this particular case, I have sold 16,950 here, and to hedge it, I have bought three options in the next week. Okay, that is why this payoff graph is giving me a profit if market moves a little bit up, profit if market moves a little bit down. Okay, so this is the position I'm carrying for Nifty here. Okay, so these are the positions. So from 17,300 to this 15,900. These are basically strangle kind of positions, but these are ratio calendars. Uh, where my exposure is into the next week options. Okay. Now coming back to the bank nifty position that I have created, it is also a calendar, but I have created this with a little wide range at 30 um, 37,500 calls, and to the lower side 35,600 puts. Okay, again, uh, the IVs are very low right now, premiums are very less, and in this kind of situation I try to stay out of the money where I can get some sufficient premium, because if I'm staying at the money or little near to the at the money, uh, positions come into loss very fast, because theta decay is very less when premiums are less. As you can understand that the India VIX is also at 17.4 level. So now coming back to what is my rationale behind these particular positions, let's discuss that. Okay. This is the charting platform that I use. So before I enter into the market, I make three things very much clear to myself. What is the current trend? And based upon the current trend, what kind of positions that I will be creating for myself. So I don't believe into things like that, what I think will happen or what might happen. I just try to understand what the various indicators are telling me, and then I take a rational approach towards it. Okay. For example, I always try to look at the higher time frame, what the market is doing. So in this particular instance, if you look at the daily charts, uh, market is bullish as it is trading above this particular alligator. Okay, so whenever the alligator is to the upper side, uh, the market is bullish. If it is to the lower side, it is bearish. If you can look at this MACD also, MACD is above the zero line, which again is a bullish signal. So at this point of time, whatever trades I will be looking at will be bullish. Okay. Even if you look at the ADX on the daily charts, it has started to trend. Okay, so market is trending right now. RSI again, it is trending. Stochastics also, it is in the overbought region, but it can stay in the overbought region for a long time. Okay, so this gives me a basic idea that markets right now are bullish. So it will be counterproductive if I'm going to take any bearish signal here. Okay, so once I have a clear understanding that the market is bullish or market is bearish, the next step is to understand what are the zones where I have to initiate a trade. For example, let's look at the hourly chart, that is the trading time frame. Okay, so for last few days, one thing was very much clear to me, that for Nifty, when we're talking about Nifty, the immediate resistance is going to be at the 16,800 level, at this level, because this is where the previous high was registered. Okay, so again, this 16,800 level is going to be the immediate resistance for me, and also the trap zone. Why I'm talking about the trap zone? Because once this particular point is broken between a certain range, let's say 16,800 to 16,850, market may try to make some pin bar type of movement. So I have to be extremely cautious at this particular point, that if I take a bullish position, market does not immediately fall from that point, thus hitting my stop loss. So 16,800 is the resistance. Next point is to understand what is the support. Okay. Now this particular point where the gap up happened, this is the immediate support point where I think that the trap will be laid, because at this point, when we look at the daily chart, market has risen a lot. So there is a general thinking about among the market participants that market has gone up. Now it should come down. Okay, or they look for the sell signal. But what happens is, at these type of trap zones, market breaks this particular point and immediately makes a pin bar, uh, uh, and market reverses, thus again hitting your stop loss. So now I have a resistance point, I have a support point. Okay, and this staircase pattern that you are looking at on this chart is, this is the daily alligator line, which tells me which is the confluence point where the market will take support. So ultimate support will be at 16,350, where the market will try to bounce. So it gives me very clear indication that my upper resistance zone is 16,800 and lower support zone is 16,300. That is the reason that in my trades, I wrote 16,350 put because that was the clear cut support. And on the upper side, I wrote 16,950 call because it was above the resistance. Now, more than knowing the resistance and the support part of the chart, there is one more concept that I like to understand before I head into the market. Okay, that is the path of least resistance. Understand it this way: if market is going to break this particular point, this particular resistance, what is going to be the next stop for the market? That is something that I try to ascertain. Now, thinking rationally, if market goes above 16,900, it might it might touch this say 17,200 level, because that is where the previous consolidation took place, like at this particular level. But we also have to look at the fact that I am only concerned about 28th July. What is going to happen on 28th July? So my best case scenario is that if this particular resistance is broken, Nifty might head towards 17,000 level, and hence my trade is written as 16,950 level. So even if it goes to the upper end, I will still make profit because I have ratio calendars with me. Okay. So ultimately, I am bullish on this market, but for this particular 28th July, I have a sideways bullish kind of bias. That is why on Friday, at this particular point, I wrote a call ratio calendar at 16,950 and I wrote a put ratio calendar at 16,350. And now market is bullish, but it is not that bullish. It is going sideways. So when this is sideways, I am gaining from this position. Second thing is, this is not the only technical setup that I use to understand what the market is going to do. Okay. I am also looking at this particular MACD here. Okay. So above zero line, it is bullish, but since the MACD is now heading down, the momentum will not be that strong. Okay, it might go sideways. Second thing is, look at this particular blue line here. This gray line and the gray pricing means now the ADX is not trending on the hourly chart. Look at this. Previously, when this particular line was blue, ADX was above its 20 EMA, but now ADX is below its 20 EMA. So I think that after touching the 47 or 50 levels, when the ADX is coming down, market will go sideways. So this particular position that I have created uh, for Nifty, it will benefit, and I won't have to do any adjustment on this particular trade till 28th of July. Okay. Same thing is towards the bank Nifty trade also. Okay. In bank Nifty also, market is highly bullish. So I had to ascertain uh, what is the resistance going to be and what is the support going to be. So when I check the charts, this is the point that is 35,900 or 35,800, which was acting as a support in the last few days. And immediate resistance or the trap zone was between 36,800 to 37,000 levels. Okay. And if it follows the path of least resistance, I expect market to be touching somewhere near this 37,500 levels. Okay. So based upon that, again, if you look at the hourly charts here on Bank Nifty also, MACD is now coming down, but ADX is still trending. Okay, that is why in the morning I was expecting some long unwinding, and when this particular candle occurred, I wrote the call ratio calendar at this particular point. Okay, and when market exactly started taking support at this particular level, I wrote a sideways put ratio calendar. So my position somehow became like this. So it is a very wide range from 35,500 till 37,600. I don't have to worry about anything. Every day the market opens within this range, there will be theta decay, and I have some options from the next week also. Because we are into a low IV environment, they will gain uh, um, the IVs. Okay, so this is the rationale behind taking these sideways trade. I'm trading with a bullish bias, but for this particular expiry, my bias is sideways and bullish. All I have to do is just wait on these positions out and let the theta decay play out. Now, moving forward, I look at the technical analysis, but at the end of the day, I also look at the option chain to understand what is the data on the options saying. So for that, I have this particular option chain which I built through Python at the end of the day, and I look at it. So yesterday, uh, I was pretty much sure that even if there is a gap down or initial down movement, it will not sustain because look at the 16700 puts here at this particular point. 16700 put was witnessing 30 lakh OI build up on Friday. 16600 24 lakh, 16500 27 lakh OI. Similarly, there was some OI written on the call side, 17 lakh on 16700 and 16800 16 lakh. But still, the majority of OI was written on the put side. So I was hopeful that market will turn bullish. Similarly, in Bank Nifty also, call writing was there, but put writing outweighed the option writing on Bank Nifty also. So that is why I'm playing the out of the money options where position are sideways. In this type of environment, I don't prefer to, when the premiums are very less, I don't prefer to do iron flies because एक तो प्रीमियम बहुत कम होता है और दूसरा थीटा डीके बहुत स्लो होता है और इन केस देयर इज एन एडवर्स मूव योर your protections are very near to the point from where the market is tanking. In that case, it can give immediate loss. The kind of position that I have created right now, from morning till now, it has just gained the theta decay. It has not come into a loss even a single time this whole week. Now you may be asking that this profit seems very less, but it is not. Uh, on this particular position right now, the premiums are very less, so I'm keeping the quantities down. But if I tell you, then these two positions are collectively using the margin of approximately 12 to 13 lakh, and the ROI that I'm kind of looking on these particular trades, if I don't have to touch these positions till 28 July, is somewhere around 2 to 4%, and that I'm talking about weekly. Okay, and because these are far out of the money options, theta decay is working in my favor. So this is what I'm doing. So now, if you have questions, just let's address them. Apart from that, I also keep monitor on the option chain live on my charting software itself. So for example, here I have a Nifty chain with me. In Nifty also, I can see that 16700 put has been unwinded for the whole day here. There is some writing going on in 16600 put, 16500 put is unwinded, and there is writing going on 16400 put. So I have written my puts at 16350 level and 16400 put is being written. So this gives me a little assurance that my position to the downside won't be challenged. And even in the up move that came just right now when Nifty bounced at this particular level 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can look at it, 16700, 800, 900, 17,000. These call writers never left their positions. They are still writing the positions. This gives me another idea that right now the market is sideways. And same is happening for the Bank Nifty also. Bank Nifty 36,800 call writers are still intact. 36,900 call writers are still intact. 37,000 call writers are still intact. 37,100 call writers are still intact. In the current bull move, when the market started bouncing, there was some OI writing on 36,800 put levels. But again, to the call side and to the put side, the major writers are not leaving their position, which gives me assurance that, okay, the sideways position that I have created right now, that is going to work fine. Okay, so this is it. This is what my analysis is for this particular week. I think the market is going to stay in between the range of 16,300 to 17,000, and that is how I have positioned myself on Nifty. For Bank Nifty, I think the 35,500 to 37,500 range will play out. Okay, so I will be writing positional options till tomorrow, that is Tuesday. After Tuesday, I prefer not to write carry forward positions. I just like to watch the existing position lose on theta decay. The reason is that as you approach the expiry, there is a gamma risk. You can write a 20-30 rupees option, but the risk of that 20-30 rupees option going to 100 and 120 is very much high. So I don't prefer to write that. This is it. Now, let's move to the questions if you have about the setup or about the positions or about the kind of analysis I'm doing. I'm all yes. Look, there is a best free software to backtest option strategies. The basic thing that you can get is at uh, stock mock. Many time-based strategies you can uh, backtest on that particular platform, but I prefer to have my own backtest platform. That is why uh, for somebody who wants to backtest strategies, I suggest you learn Python. Okay, that is what I am doing right now. I can backtest some basic strategies. Okay, but again, understanding and learning Python will take you long way. You will be needing offline data with you to backtest. There are going to be a lot of challenges, but as of now there is no best free software to backtest option strategies. Only one I know of is Stockmock, or you can hire some freelancer who has the data with him and you can ask him to backtest a strategy for you. Okay, that is the best way. There are many traders who collect the end of the day data with them, and based on that data they backtest their own strategy. For example, if I have to show this kind of thing, this is my backtest data for cash market, which I keep every day with me for backtesting purposes. Okay, on Python. This is for cash market. This is for the future and option markets. So this is the kind of thing we do. So you will have to find some person. And this whole AMI broker setup is not provided by the broker. AMI broker is a separate software which caters to charting needs. It has a very powerful formula language by which you can code your own strategies. For example, these strategies that I have shown, all these charts and everything, we have coded ourselves. For example, uh, these three lines are showing me the alligator on an hourly time frame, but the staircase pattern is the same alligator on daily chart frame showing to me on daily on hourly platform. So from this particular point, I can understand that the market is at a support zone. Okay. Now at the bottom part, I'm using the MACD, but I also need to see what the ADX is doing, average directional index. So for that, I have created this particular ribbon. So when the ribbon is blue, I understand that the ADX is also trending right now. So if ADX is trending, I'm not going to take any counter move. Okay, see this. Till the time ADX was uh, above the EMA, it was blue, and then it came down. It is an immediate what we say visual indicator for me that the market is not trending right now because the ADX is already falling. Okay. Again, we have developed our own coding systems to find what are the option breaks values, what are the historical volatility and the employed volatility level. I suggest you learn that thing so that you can get all this data at one place when you're trading. So it makes your trading decision very easy. So for if I have to see what's happening on option chain, I don't have to go at some place else. Okay, if I have to check the bank Nifty option chain, I don't have to go at some place else. Frankly speaking, the UI of the Sensible is very good, but I haven't used it. Its backtesting strategies. One reason I rely on my own backtest is because when I am backtesting some strategy myself or with the help of my developer, Miss Asta, it's it's that I can vouch for the backtest integrity, that data is correct, I have taken the right slippages. Okay, I know that the data is not missing. I know what are the kind of cost I'm putting into the back test, and finally, what is the kind of output I'm getting from that particular back test. Okay, that is why I prefer to do it myself. And lastly, I will tell you that uh, there is going to be a considerable cost when you're going to backtest strategies. Okay, in the initial years when I was getting my strategies backtested, I tried to hire a lot of developers with data. So even for backtesting a strategy, which I don't know whether it will work or not work on a big data frame, I was quoted 7,000 rupees per backtest, 10,000 rupees per backtest. So that didn't make sense to me. That is why it took me a year and a half to start backtesting the basic strategies myself. But once I understood the coding, it was a whole new world. And believe me, things are not that difficult. Okay. It just requires a little effort from your side, but things are very easy now. A lot of resources available. Rajiv ji, I'm expecting expiry between 17,000 to 16,400 levels because look, the bullish move जो आनी थी वो आ गई हुई है अब थोड़ी सी consolidation मुझे expected है and I'm relying on indicators here. ADX has already started to trend downside, so I expect market to be little sideways. That is why मैंने ratio calendars के ऊपर अपनी position create की है कि अगर थोड़ा सा ऊपर भी चली जाती है then also it gives me profit. अगर थोड़ा सा नीचे को आती है then also it gives me profit. Okay, look, whenever the price is above this alligator lines now, it is always bullish. But once after a particular trend market breaks to the downside now, it always goes sideways. So right now my view is sideways bullish. Market will not go immediately bullish. It will not fall much, but it will keep on giving the upper thrusts that we keep on seeing. For example, many contrarian traders would have taken this as a bearish sign, but again at this particular point it was just going sideways and यहाँ से एकदम से इसने up move देनी शुरू कर दी. Yes, 16,800 is a very important resistance, and there is a possibility that at 16,800 there might be some trap buying also. Trap buying also मतलब late buyers जिनको लग रहा है कि हम लोग अभी trend को मिस कर देंगे. इस point के ऊपर market may go up for let's say half hour or 1 hour, and once the people have got into the buying position, they will immediately sell it off. That is why I'm creating position out of the money and sideways. One thing that you need to understand, uh, is that the index movement has now changed a lot. Okay, previously it was trend consolidation and trend. Right now the index movement is choppy. Okay, one day it can be gap up, another day it can be gap down. Okay, but in the larger sense of thing, it will go bullish. For example, even on Thursday there was this big candle. This was I think mistaken trade, whatever it was, but it distorted the charts. It was a gap up. Next day again there was a gap down, market moved up again, gapped up, went sideways, normal open, went up. So these type of movements are increasing now. It will be kind of double top. But as long as market is going to remain above 16,400, I'm going to keep hoping that it is bullish. Okay, see this 16,350 at this is the alligator line. This is where price will retrace and take a support. So if it comes to this particular point, I will not be surprised. But will I be bearish at that particular point? No, I will not be bearish, because if the market has to go bearish from this particular point on, it has to consolidate at this level a little and then give a breakout to the upper side or to the lower side. Okay, so very difficult to say whether right now we are bearish. No, we are bullish. But when the up move will start, we will have to see how it sustains above the 16,800 level, and then we will also have to see how is the option data forming at this particular level, whether it is bullish, whether it is bearish. Right now the data is bullish. Okay, right now the data is bullish. Look, there is no best indicator. I have thought about this particular thing a lot. But when it comes to trading, as far as the momentum is concerned, I like to take help of MACD indicator a lot. Ultimately, you will have to find an indicator for yourself, the movement of which you understand. Right now, uh, I understand MACD a lot, so I use MACD on all my time frames. Occasionally, I look at the ADX also. I don't know because I told you MACD के ऊपर मुझे ज़्यादा समझ में आता है. And MACD is the one underrated indicator which I never used for the last 10 years. I started using it one and a half year back, and it is such a powerful indicator. Uh, I will give you one tip for looking at MACD. MACD के अंदर this blue is the signal line, okay? Sorry, MACD line, and this dotted line is the signal line. Whenever MACD goes above the signal line, it is considered bullish, okay? But what I have seen is this is not a bullish signal. Till the time this MACD is below the zero line, it is sideways right now if it has crossed over to the signal line. In the true sense, it will get bullish when MACD crosses over to the zero line. Similarly, in MACD, this is considered to be a sell signal. I don't consider this a sell signal. I consider this a sideways signal. See, at this particular time when the crossover happened, market was at this particular point. Till the time market came here, it was sideways. Major movement on the sell side came when MACD went below the zero line. This is one thing that nobody will tell you. So I like MACD better than RSI. That does not mean that I don't use RSI. Whenever I'm at the end of the day sitting and looking at my setup and trying to understand what the market may do or may not do, I always look at all type of indicators. I primarily look at my setup, what the alligator and the MACD are doing. Then I try to understand what the ADX is doing. Okay. And then I even try to look at what the RSI is doing. So somewhere when I sold the 16,950 calls at this particular point, there was also a reason because MACD was forming a double top, and even it was trying to go below its 20 EMA, which I have plotted on the RSI itself, just to understand where, what is the direction of the RSI. So even I look at stochastics also. Stochastic is an oscillator. So if I have to, so I was also keeping an eye on this thing. So if I have to take a good entry, pullback entry, I will be looking at stochastics also, just to get an idea. It is not my trading decision, just to get an idea. I also keep an eye on MFI also, just to get an idea what the market is doing. And if you just give a look at my chart, I am also using the visible range, volume at price, to understand if the market starts to fall, which is the point where market may take support. So if market is falling from this particular point, I think it will take support at this particular level, because this is where the maximum volume has taken place. That is the 16,500 levels. If this point is broken, where is the next point that market might take support? It is at this particular level. Understand my point? So there is no single indicator. What matters is that when you're trying to take some option position, you have to understand whether the market is bullish, whether the market is bearish. If it is bullish, then at what point are you going to write your option strategies? What is, so okay, let me just show you my worksheet, how I prepare for the next day. Okay, at the end of the day, I every day sit and make this worksheet for me, so that when the market opens in the morning, I'm very much clear what I'm going to do. I'm finding what is the current trend on the daily chart, on the hourly chart. I'm trying to find what is the resistance, what is the trap zone. I'm trying to find what is the support. what is the trap support, what is the alligator doing, ADX doing, RSI doing, and then I decide my analysis is bullish, but only if it is strong at 36,800 plus. If reversal, then it is sideways. On hourly chart, maximum indicators were falling. So if indicators give a sell, then it is a sideways. Why sideways? Because in daily charts, we're still bullish. That is why the ratio calendars. Then I look at the option data also, how many puts were written, how many calls were written. Okay, what is the path of least resistance? And then I prepare my game plan for it. So this is why I'm saying that 37,500 to 35,500 range is what is I'm looking at. And on Nifty, I'm looking at a no trading zone of 16,600 to 16,800, but call ratios at 6,900 and put calendars at 16,500 to 16,400 levels. So this type of thing, when you're trading in the market, there is no one indicator that can tell you anything. You have to be very clear that market can do anything, and you need to understand, okay, if market is coming at this 36,000 level, this might be a support time, so you might look for a bullish signals. If it is at this particular point, it is a resistance, it might give a sell signal. If it gives a sell signal, what I have to do? If it gives a buy signal, then what I have to do? And you have to be prepared accordingly. That is how it works. Okay, so in the meantime, when we were talking, this theta decay that I was taking, it has gone from 14,000 to 18,000. So because the market is sideways, so why risk writing at the money option? So again, this is my option chain, which I keep looking at it during the market hours. So this is something we have developed on our own, the way we want to look at the market, not the NSE option chain. It is the data is coming from NSE, but we have developed this on our own. So we keep looking at everything, that can affect the market. If you have any more questions, just post it. Look, it depends. In Nifty, I never do iron flies. In Bank Nifty, if I get an opportunity for iron fly, I do it. Somewhere, whenever I've taken a position on iron fly in Nifty, I've always incurred a loss. Okay, so when it is about iron flies, I do it on Bank Nifty. When it is about the out of the money calendars I have to do, I do it on Nifty and Bank Nifty both. It's about the risk and reward that we are getting on the trades. Okay. Friday I was getting good premium on Nifty, so I traded Nifty. Today I was not getting good premium on Nifty, so I traded on Bank Nifty. These are both the indexes. They move in tandem to each other. दोनों एक जैसे चलते हैं, तो ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं. अगर निफ्टी sideways, then Bank Nifty is going to remain most probably sideways. So what I do is I make tranches of my money, and few positions I take on Nifty, few positions I take on Bank Nifty, some positions I will take tomorrow, that type of thing. Okay, so that money is diversified over various positions. And another rule that I follow is that if my particular position is hitting a cumulative stop loss of, let's say, 0.7% of the expected target, if my target is, let's say, 50,000 and I'm making a loss of, let's say, 35,000, then there is always one position that is doing that loss. I always close that position. Always close that position. Because if your target is 50,000 and you are making a loss of 50,000 or 60,000, then you're not going to be profitable. So you have to keep a stop loss at a figure which is less than your profit. Mr. Amit, this is something that you will have to devise for yourself. If you are going to trade in your job, then I suggest you look at a bigger time frame, like 2 hourly or 3 hourly time frame, and in that also you work on monthly options rather than weekly options. Don't go for weekly options, because weekly options require constant monitoring, because weekly options are near to the expiry and there is a gamma risk every day. So you will have to stick to your screen all the time for management. So develop a technical system which you can follow, and then uh, do it on a bigger time frame. If I was in your place, I will probably go with 2 hour time frame, or let's say 3 hour time frame, and I will trade the monthly options. That is a discussion for some other day. In future, I might discuss that with the members here. And one thing, if you cannot be on the system for the whole day, whatever strategies you do, I suggest uh, those strategies are always hedged. They have a limited risk and limited reward, and the risk reward ratio is always 1:1. That way, you will not blow your account if something bad happens. Okay. Why I'm saying this is because understand this thing. What people tend to do is when trading in options, उनको लगता है दूर की option sell कर दो, and they will always be safe. Okay, for example, if somebody has to take a selling position, what they will do is, let's say somebody is working on 5 lots and Nifty, they will sell 6,900 call, which is at 22, and then they will buy 17,100 call. As a hedge. Now, what they think is that till the time market is below this particular point, they will make profit. But the point is, risk to reward ratio in these kind of trade is not good. Whenever you are trying to make this type of position, make sure if you are maximum getting 4,500 rupees, then that is 4,500 is the maximum that you should be willing to lose. Okay, so if I was in your place and doing job, my preference will be something like, I will sell at the money call, maybe 1 lot if I'm not if I can't bear a big loss, and I will buy 16,800 call. Now in this particular position, my maximum profit is still the same, 42.80, and my maximum loss is 57.20. So even if I go on my job and I cannot look at the computer, I know my loss is not going to increase from this particular point. Consider it with another position. And even if you have to exit this kind of position, you will exit with a loss of 1,000, 2,000 rupees. But in that case, it's just a disaster that is waiting to be happen. So don't do that kind of trading. Always, when you are creating a position, keep a thought on what is your maximum profit and what is your maximum loss, especially for the position which you are not going to look after. This green part should be approximately equal to this red one. If you think that you cannot handle this kind of loss or this kind of profit, reduce the quantity. It is in your hand. And most importantly, develop a system. Okay, this is what I can say. Okay, so the positions that I have created, I don't need to touch those positions. They are perfectly fine. So I'm carrying it as it is. Carrying the positions as it is. There is no need to change anything. Yeah, any more questions, or we should end the session? Okay, guys, then I think it was a wonderful session with you guys. I like the questions that you had for me. We'll keep doing this more and more. If you have any queries, you can just bring it on. Thank you.